陛下はいずれに
バリドゥスに会いに行った。
仇を討つという誓いを立てに行ったのやもしれんな。春の足音はもうすぐだ。
最近月が大きく見えるからね。第一王子殿に眠りについていただいたのもこんな夜だったね。
うん、静かな夜だった。
時々あの夜を夢に見る。
貴様がか？
意外か？
ああ。
Hello everyone and good afternoon. Thank you for watching me play some Valkyria Chronicles 4, The Revolution. So far I am on chapter 4 in the game. Now, I usually play animated games, usually with Japanese, plus subtitles, because I'm half Japanese, half American. So I usually soak in some of the words. Some of the words that are interpreted are very different from the English translation. But other than that, enjoy the game. I hope you enjoy, just as much as I enjoy this game as well. And I will definitely give you my feedback after the cutscene.
確かにバリディスは仕事のできる男だ。にっこり笑って相手の一番痛い部分をえぐることができる男。ルーシの外交はあの男なくしては成り立たなかった。
ギルーシュ殿も今宵はよくしゃべる。
貴様に釣られたかな。我ら5人それぞれの領分でよくぞ大ルーシを築き上げたものよ。のうグスタフ、俺はな、アバルーネでお前の元に来た男がバリディスを殺したと睨んだ。
あの顔は忘れん。あの呪術師、俺が始末する。
それはそうと。王子をどう？
マクシムが4勝に取り立てられた時は驚いたがね。でも俺は嫌いじゃないな。あいつの部の才は本物だし、なかなか見込みがあると思っている。
そうか。お主はあの男を認めるか。
ギルーシュは違うのか。
今はまだ判断する時ではないと思っている。
やれやれ、慎重だね。
将軍だ。致し方あるまい。
Alright, so now that the cutscene is basically over, this is basically the 4th version of the series in the Valkyria Chronicles series. You got the first one, which is 1, 2, and 3. First one was just known as Valkyria Chronicles. It's just basically the war with the Empire and the country of Gallia, because of the raw resources and mountains of resources basically in Gallia that was discovered by both the Federation and the Empire. Federation in the western part of the European continent, and then the Empire in the western part of the European continent. Federation's more kind of like the Republic, so to speak, and then the Empire is basically more like a communist dictatorship regime. Gallia is like a neutral country. It's basically like Switzerland, Sweden, or something like that, with some German traits to it. Now, this is basically just the first game in this series. It's very good. I recommend you play it. The art engine in it is absolutely fantastic. You will not see an art engine like this ever in any other video game besides the Valkyria Chronicles series. It's a revolution of its own. It's Sega's go-to masterpiece, work engine, workforce moneymaker, basically. Number 2, unfortunately, Sega decided to go with the PSP franchise of Sony. I don't know why. It was just piss poor marketing, in my opinion. It did not make it for the PlayStation 3. I don't know why. And the Valkyria Chronicles 2 was basically after the war with the European continent in 1935. This is in-game material, not outside reality. So don't get confused here. 1935, alternate version of World War II. Europe is two different superpowers, and there's a couple of neutral countries in between those superpowers, because those countries learned to defend itself over the centuries and the past centuries before that. Number 2 is basically about how Gallia is now its own country that can actually withhold its own. It has its own military academy. And there is still some, this is a spoiler alert, there is some discrimination with these people known as Darkson because of the some cataclysmic event that happened hundreds, if not thousands, of years ago. This is in the in-game history with the ancient beings known as the Valkyrians, which have mystical powers and energy. And they were sought to be divine beings of peace and not a warlike race. But I can't spoil it that much for too much. I want you guys to actually go in, play Valkyria 1 and 2. 2, absolutely magnificent. 3 is by far one of my favorite in the Valkyria franchise completely. It still follows, this is the game system that they use, if anyone's interested. Valkyria is not a third-person game. It's not supposed to be like Revolution. It's a tactical strategy, turn-based game, just like XCOM, but better. In Valkyria, you can actually move your character anywhere you want on the battlefield as long as you have enough AP points, literally, to determine where you want to move on the battlefield. And then there's different type of medals at the very top of the screen in the map when you're trying to decide where to move your character. In Valkyria Chronicles 3, it takes place again in 1935, which takes place in the same year as the first Valkyria Chronicles, which is 1935, the European Continent War, when the whole entire European continent was at war with the Federation and the Empire decides to invade Gallia over its raw Ragnite resources. Now, Ragnite is a crystal element in the Valkyria Chronicles series. It's supposed to have unlimited amount of power. Think of it as the crystal from, like, the mystical story of Atlantis, about a crystal that could power a whole entire nuclear reactor, or maybe probably more powerful than coal itself, or more powerful than 0 point energy completely. That's basically what Ragnite is, and you'll get the picture once you start playing the video game. In number 3, it talks about the unrecorded part of the war, which is basically about this platoon, this battalion known as the Nameless. This is a spoiler alert. It's basically a bunch of felons smushed up into a Black Ops squadron to do dirty work for the Gallian military. Oh yes, best part, you're gonna love this. They treat the felons like a bunch of dirt and peasants. So much for being special ops, Black Ops team, so to speak, whatever. Now, Valkyria Chronicles 4 is coming out, but before we call it Valkyria Chronicle 4, Valkyria the Revolution should be actually considered for. It's not a turn-based strategy game. It's got more of a Final Fantasy feel to it. It's kind of like Kingdom Hearts. You basically move around. You're able to choose whatever you want for your spells and stuff and your actions, be able to dodge weapons and sort of dodge attacks, so to speak, and to determine where you want to go and stuff. The truth is, though, unfortunately, Valkyria Chronicles is an incomplete game. It's totally complete, but what I mean by incomplete is that there are cutscenes that don't seem to be completely finished. Like, we're talking about, like, the audience. They seem to be, like, looking up at one of the main characters in the game, when Ophelia, spoiler alert, she's the princess of the country of Jutland. That's one of the country. And the story takes place 40 years before the European Continental War of 1935. So we're talking like 40 years before its time. But we have all these weird weapons in this. I don't know. It just kind of seemed odd to me that we have like super robot tanks in 40 years before the actual event that happened. But we have to take into consideration, we're talking about kingdoms, we're not talking about neutral countries anymore. We're talking about ancient lands, ancient kingdoms that existed before the European Continental War. So there had to be ancient weapons that were being developed by these royal families, so to speak. But anyway, Princess Ophelia, she's singing to all the folks down there at the audience, and the audience are looking up, and they don't even seem to have any life in them. That's what I mean by one of the cutscenes. The cutscenes just seem incomplete because it just looks like somebody just slapped a whole bunch of figures down in the courtyard. And Sega thought, this is good. Okay, now I'm going to start cussing because being a Japanese, you know, it has to be perfect. It has to be done completely. It has to have quality. I'll tell you why this game had poor review. It's because they did a half-assed job. You're gonna put a fucking character and not have enough lifelike figures going around, like actually talking and stuff like that. It's like, how can you make such a great franchise and decided to drop the ball on this game when you have all the other games that are just absolutely excellent in the Valkyria Chronicles, and then you drop the ball on this one game when you're trying to do something new? Look, you're gonna do something new, do it right. Look at, like, Lord of the Rings. You see how they have, like, all these special abilities with all these characters, how they're able to stab someone, you gotta do a button combination stuff. Why couldn't they do that with Valkyria Chronicles? That's my opinion. I like how they have the whole idea of, like, the Kingdom Hearts idea with all the spells and stuff, but another thing that they didn't do right with this game is it's not challenging enough. I'm playing on normal. At the beginning of the game, I'm trying to play it on normal. I'm trying to get a challenge, a little bit more challenge than easy, because there is no hard option. I'm pretty sure after I finish the game, it'll be hard. But in my opinion, it's absolutely not hard right now. Everything I've done to play this game is absolutely freaking easy. I mean, you're basically like Kirito from Sword Art Online. You're basically running, charging towards the bullet, and basically blocking their shots, and then performing this crazy-ass spell. It's like this Blazing Ragnite flaming sword attack, and basically wiping out the whole entire enemy team. If not, the freaking grenade is overpowering as hell. You can take out a whole entire squad, if not a platoon of guys, right in front of you with one grenade. Punch a hole right in through the enemy line and just wipe them all out with just your sword technique. It's crazy. But then again, you're also Jutland's elite anti-Valkyria unit. But anyway, that's just my opinion on the battle system. It's too easy for, I mean, it may not be easy for a casual gamer. I'm a hardcore gamer. Been playing video games since I was 3 years old. My first game was Medal of Honor, Zelda, the Top Gun one with the Flipbox Nintendo, Super Mario World, Super Battletech, R-Type, you name it. Every single game I played. Almost every single game. Dino Crisis, it was Capcom's version of Resident Evil gone Jurassic Park. Big fail. That wasn't a big success. That was a huge fail. It didn't even survive. The franchise didn't even survive, so they just went with the Resident Evil franchise. And I'm not a Resident Evil fan. Sorry, folks. I know you guys are zombies. I am not a zombie fan. I hate zombies. I just don't know why. I just think it's fucking boring killing the undead. Anyway, moving on. I've been playing video game for a long time, and in my opinion, Valkyria Chronicles The Revolution has a great storyline. It pulls you in. It really catches you. It grabs you by the throat, grabs you by the head, and it literally sucks you right in because the story is so dynamic. There's politics involved. There's power struggles between different countries. There's there's an unknown shadowy enemy that's pulling strings on all these superpowers in the whole entire storyline. There's a group of folks, I don't want to spoil it because I can't tell you why the story is so incredible, but that's why I ask you guys to play a game. But the battle system is lacking. The cutscenes, they're complete, but they're incomplete. If I mean by incomplete, it's how should I put it? It's Well, it's basically there's some parts where you see people's faces and some parts you don't see people's faces, and sometimes you can't even tell who's talking to who. Even if it is in Japanese, you can't really tell who's talking to who. It's frustrating sometimes. So you have to literally assume, you have to try to think and figure out who's talking to what. In other words, you gotta follow the characters and follow the story. You gotta be that attentive when you're playing this game. Now, another warning. Has anybody ever read a book? Alright, so if you basically, like, let's say read a book, like a 1,200 page, 800 page book, which I've read hundreds of books because I got my own library over here across from me. Not to mention the book I'm writing, which is based off the Ace Combat series, which is going to be Ace Combat 0. I still got to get permission from Bandai Namco to publish that. Alright, so moving on. This game, Valkyria Chronicles Revolution, when it comes to the storyline, is absolutely slow. It takes about an hour and 20 minutes for it to actually pick up. I've been only playing this game for at least 4 hours, 5 hours, and the game started picking up after an hour, 20 minutes later. So yes, you guys have to have a lot of patience, suck it up, deal with it, and then go with it. Voice acting. Voice acting is not too shabby. The reason why I say it's not too shabby and it's not perfect, which is a disappointment being a half Japanese, half American, and if it was my Japanese side, it is a huge disappointment, is that it doesn't seem like the voices in some parts of the game are in sync with the voice acting. Like, the singing, it should be in sync, but it really isn't, which is a huge disappointment. It's like whoever produced it, they probably put it in the wrong spot in the game to actually work like it's supposed to. But that's, I guess that's just it, I guess. I mean, some folks, they get too lazy and they get so full of themselves over a franchise. Like, oh, it's gonna be absolutely good. We're gonna make a lot of good monies off of this. I mean, Valkyria Chronicles never failed us, except Sega, you didn't put it in a PlayStation 3 for Valkyria Chronicles 2. Sega, you still didn't put it in a PlayStation 3 for Valkyria Chronicles 3, and you put them both on the PSP. And this is coming from an Ace Combat fan from Namco and Bandai, which, thank God, Namco and Bandai fucking finally listened again. Sega, you need to go back and remaster Valkyria's Chronicles in 2 and 3, in my opinion, and put them back on either the... You need to put them on the PS4, for God's sakes. That's just my fucking opinion. But, overall, Valkyria the Revolution, I would probably have to give it 6 out of 10. What the review says. If not, if I'm gonna slim it in there, I'll give it 7 out of 10. 7 out of 10 because they attempted to try something brand new, and in my opinion, just like how, you know, Bungie did their Halo RDST games, real-time strategy game, RTS, real-time strategy game, which was a really interesting take on Halo. I mean, who would not want to command the UNSC forces, build resources, build the freaking Warhawks and the freaking tanks, and blow up the shit out of the Covenant with your own commanding army? I mean, who would not want to do that? I mean, my opinion, I love what Sega was trying to do. They tried to jimmy themselves in there, tried to do something new, and in my opinion, I think it actually worked. I mean, but it gets repetitive. I mean, there is no new maps. They only do like 1 or 2 battlefields in the map, and what a huge disappointment that is. Like, absolutely huge. And also, this game is really not that big. It's only 12 gigabytes. So, yes, it does lack a lot of material, but story-wise, definitely worth it. Gaming-wise, it's just a breeze through, basically, because like I said, it's easy. Cutscene-wise, excellent, absolutely excellent, except it's incomplete. Because the story is good, it's part of the cutscene. Some of the cutscenes, some of the audience, and some of the secondary characters, which are basically characters that are not the main part of the story are not shown because they think that was not important, when each character in the game, each character, in my opinion, in the Valkyria Chronicles, if you're going to make a Stranger Real universe, is absolutely important to the story development. Because eventually, I guarantee you, one of the writers are going to come across one of the storylines and they're going to be like, oh, let's write a story about this guy, or this guy, or this guy. Because that's how it works when you're writing stories about a video game or another person and stuff like that, because it always follows later. Because I took creative writing class back in high school, so I know these things. So basically, you want to play the game, go ahead, it's up to you. I don't recommend you guys to pay the full price. Try to find a pre-owned one. There is no special case for this game. There's no limited edition. There's no there's none of it. If you can find it used for $20 or like maybe $10-15, go ahead, fling your money at it. You don't watch these other YouTubers that bash the hell out of this game, because I'm a real gamer. I play real games. I played Horizon Zero Dawn, played Battlefield 1 Revolution. I have played the Battlefield 4 PS3. That was absolutely obnoxiously terrible. I am going to play Battlefield 4 for the PlayStation 4. I know I'm so late, but definitely going to do that. I played Rainbow Six Siege. Great game. Retarded-ass aiming system. Titanfall 2, I have not played that yet. Command & Conquer, I've never gotten into that series. I definitely want to get into that series. Star Wars Battlefront 2, excellent game, except EA fucking sucks. How the hell do you get rid of Galactic Conquest? Why did you not merge the space battle and the ground battle like we've all been talking about for over 25-something fucking years? Oh wait, no, I'm 27 years old, so no, I didn't exist. But we're talking about... Star Wars Battlefront came out in what, came out in 2000. Year 2000. I think it was year 2000, right? Or 2001. So, we've been talking about that for 17 frickin' years and they still haven't done that shit. Wow. Crazy. And then I play Call of Duty World War II. Call of Duty World War II is an excellent Call of Duty game. Excellent. In my opinion, absolutely great. How they brought women into the game, I thought definitely plausible. I mean, French resistance fighters as one of the characters in the game. It's just too bad they didn't have any Russian girls in there. I mean, that would be a little bit more historically complete. But resistance fighters in there, I was like, yeah, no problem. But some of the black folks in there being part of the Nazi forces, I would definitely say no to that. Overwatch, I played it. Excellent League of Legends games for the PlayStation 4. I guarantee you will have so much cancer with that game. It's unimaginably great. The City of Final Fantasy, I loaded that yesterday while I was sleeping. Tom Clancy's Division, so I haven't played it. I mean, those are all the PS4 games that I got lined up that I still have to play. Got Kingdom Hearts for the PS2. I've already played it, beaten it. Want to play it again because I don't have it because it was from my friends. Sword Art Online, The Lost Song. Haven't played that yet. I'll tell you what that's like. I played Gran Turismo 4. I'm a beast at that fucking game. Played Front Mission 4 on super hard. Oh my god, that game is so freaking easy for me now. Ace Combat 5 Unsung War, beat that on Ace Mode. Medal of Honor Vanguard. Jesus, why did EA Games ruin the Medal of Honor series? I will never know. That game actually really belonged to DreamWorks in the first place. Warship Gunner, if you guys love like ships and stuff and everything, I recommend you guys definitely play Warship Gunner. In Japan, the game is actually called Kuregane no Hoko. It means black iron cannon. Really, really, really good game. I recommend you guys play it whenever you get a chance. Alright, let's see what we got here going on. And then, Brother in Arms. Road to Hill 30. Very historically accurate game. Definitely something you guys need to play. And at this point I will shut up so the cutscenes go on. because I want to watch the
次
game.
はどこを落としてみせましょう。
少しは休むがよい。樹体の調子も見なければならん。まこと貴様の命、世がもらい受けたことは正解だった。これほどの働きをしてくれるとは、まさに武人の鏡よ。
これは真実の物語です。
Alright, where to go to next? Got money to spend, so I gotta see what I need to get. Already bought that. Mana resistant cloth. What is that? Something against hockey. Time for long range bows. Maybe I should go check over here. Got my orders here already. Portable pouch. Alright, let's see what this is. Oh wow, that's a big, yeah, that's a big upgrade. I'm not gonna get that much drop rate or experience, but it's way better. I really need to change up my gloves. I really need to make a better glove though. No thanks. I don't have the material I need to build a better material. I got what I need for now. Holy smokes! What did I do to deserve this shit? Jeez. Oh god. It looks like the front lines has gotten way more strained. That means I have to bring the princess along.
作戦を開始する。
撃退しましょう。
迎撃開始。ここに戦わせてください。食らえ。よし。
敵ながら見事です。
どうしてやって軍人なんだ。
吹き飛べ。よし。行くぜ。行きます。どこを見ている。嫌な予感がする。
Why haven't we captured this objective yet? What is going on here? Probably why. Huh? Oh well. Guess that works. Except I'll never know where they came from. Now everyone's probably thinking, why am I not going for the base? Well, that's because if I take 2 of these bases, the bar up there will just keep going up for me. That's what I learned playing this game. Gosh, this is so easy, even on normal. Oh, dear Lord. And my favorite part is when they all bunch up like this together. Let's watch the body count grow. Body count, motherfuckers! There goes the neighborhood!
正確。
God, that was way too easy.
戦況は思わしくありません。
Are you freaking kidding me? I just beat that mission and I still lost territory? I'm confused here. That makes no fucking sense, but okay.
戦況は思わしくありません。今回の作戦をご説明。説明は以上です。作戦を開始する。
There's mines on the ground. How lovely. Except it's not small enough. It's so silly. Then again, it's only $18.99. So it would be understandable if the mine mechanism had been good. And they were still experimenting on anti-personnel mines. Holy shit, that mine looks like an anti-tank mine, in my opinion. It's a ladder. That's why. Looks like I'm gonna have to pause it quick. I got some visitors over. I will restream in a few, maybe an hour from now, guys. Sorry about that.